When you get the clay in this form, it is already wedged because it's from the factory. Okay, so it's not necessary to wedge it, although if you wedge it, it will not hurt you to wedge it. When you get your clay, what I'm going to start by doing is giving you two pieces like this that are a little bit thicker than 1/4 of an inch. We're going to put one piece there. I'm going to roll one piece at a time. Remember how I said we need to taper it a little bit? Otherwise, it's going to get jammed in there. Okay? One piece of canvas on top. And when it flattens, it's going to squish this way. So to get this to work, you're just going to roll the wheel. Just watch for wrinkles, because wrinkles will make imprints in the fabric. So we need two slabs that are at least as big as 5 by 7 for our project. So now I'm going to carry them both back on my canvas. Now, this is the size that I'm going to have you cut out your templates to. This is 5 by 7, and the reason why I cut out 5 by 7 is because we're going to be printing our 4 by 6 linoleum print, so it's just a little bit bigger than that. Now, can you change it, make it a little bit bigger? Yes. Okay, so I just lay the paper down here. I'm going to do one thing before that. When you print it out or roll it out, you'll have this canvas texture, okay? So I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to smooth out the clay so that I don't see that canvas texture, because canvas texture is not pretty. And then all I'm going to do is lay this down, and I'm going to trace around it with my fettling knife. Just cut a nice straight line. I do think I have enough clay right here left over on this slab to do my other one. So I'm going to take this, smooth it out first. I don't want to see that canvas texture. Then I'm going to lay this on here, smooth out a little bit more. I don't want any wrinkles or texture. I just want a nice smooth piece of clay. I've already got that side cut. I'm going to print on clay. Let's say you got your linoleum block print and you really don't like the whole thing. Maybe you're like, well, I just really like this corner right here. You could just use that corner, okay? If you want to cut just the feather out, you could do that. If you want to make a new stamp on the back side, feel free to do that. Okay, so it doesn't have to look exactly like mine. I do want you to print on clay, but you can take parts of your stamp or all your stamp or make a new stamp. And like I said, if you want to do something smaller, you could do a part of it and do it in all 4 corners. Feel free to be creative. I'm just trying to give you some ideas. Of course, if you want to do just this, you can. I'm going to put my linoleum block print on there. And I'm just pushing with this. This is a brayer as well. You can print on both sides, front and back, if you want to. I'm just going to print on the front. The back side is going to be just smooth clay. You have to print in the clay when the clay is wet. If the clay is too dry, it's not going to accept the print. So I'm going to get it nice and pushed in there. And I lift up one corner and it's not quite far enough, so I'm going to push a little bit more. Okay? So test it out and see how it's doing before you peel it all up, because it's really hard to place back in the right spot. But you don't want to push too much, otherwise you might kind of rip the clay. Okay, so that's pretty good. All right, so I've just printed on my clay. Now, what we're going to be doing is putting these 2 slabs together, kind of like in a football shape. So, as much as possible without damaging this, what I need to do first is peel this up. Again, try not to squish it or misshape it. But this is going to be the inside because I haven't smoothed it out. And I'm going to bevel the inside. Remember how we beveled? So I'm going to take this and bevel it like that so it goes like a downhill ramp. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Bevel it out so it goes like a downhill ramp. Okay. Same thing on the other side. Now this is a little bit tricky. Try not to touch the print itself. And let's say you're doing something and you totally mess it up, like you just squish it all up. Feel free to start again. Okay, it's just clay. It is recyclable. I can put this piece of clay in the bag, recycle it, get a new piece of clay. It's not going to hurt anything. It's not like we can waste it like linoleum, where if you cut and mess up, you really just got to get a new piece of linoleum and it costs extra money. Clay does not work that way. Okay, so now I'm still on the back side doing the same thing, beveling outwards. Okay, now still trying to be real careful with it. I've got clean hands. And here's how the shape of it's going to be. I'm going to try to curve this a little bit while it's still wet. Because if I waited to curve that after the clay dried, it would tend to crack a little bit. Lizzie. Okay, so this is going to fit together like this. Okay, so I'm just going to show you a bird's eye view real quick. I haven't put it together yet, but you can kind of see what shape it's going to be and how it's going to fit together. Here's the tool that we use to score. So I'm going to be scoring right on that line that I beveled. Again, really rough it up. We're making clay Velcro. So if you just want to add some extra slip, just dab it on there. Don't smear it on there with your fingers because then you're just erasing the lines that you made. Okay. Lots of slip. So you're not going to see it anyway. Really get that roughed up. So I've got lots of lines, lots of slip. So now, with clean hands, so I don't damage my printed part, now I'm going to attach it together. Okay. Try to meet up those beveled edges, the 45-degree angle to the 45-degree angle. It's going to meet at a nice little corner right here. And I'm just going to push it a little bit to try to squish out all that extra slip and pop any air bubbles in there as well. The last thing I'm going to do is smooth, score, slip, and smooth. Just run my finger right along that seam. My hands, then use either my pinky or just the end of this tool just to kind of smooth out the inside. All right. Now for the next part, you might want to wait till it's a little bit drier and is about leather hard in this shape. But what we're going to do, and I'm going to go ahead and show you, is to put on a base. So instead of like measuring a base that's perfectly shaped like this, we just take a really large slab. So I'm going to take this slab, and I'm going to score and slip this whole thing to that slab, and that's going to be my bottom. So you can make the bottom shaped like a football. You can make it shaped like an oval. It could be a square. But we just want to have extra clay, and I've smoothed it out because I don't want to see the canvas texture. So now I'm going to score this part. I'll do that. So I'll make this the bottom right here, and then I'm going to flip it over and score it like that. Now I'm going to just flip it over and attach it so we have a bottom. So this is going to be able to hold water, it'll hold pencils, it'll hold flowers, you can use it for whatever. But like I said, feel free to change the shape just a little bit. You can make it more round if you want to by kind of squishing it. Doesn't have to be a football shape. If you want to make 4 sides, you can just cut out 4 slabs, you can make it a box. Okay, so this is just kind of the minimum to show you what you can do with clay by printing on it. Alright, so I've scored and slipped it. Finger is a great tool for smoothing. There are other tools that I have in here that you can use as well. Smoothing that seam. Now I have to decide what I want the bottom to be shaped like. Do I want to be able to see any of the bottom? Or do I want to cut it all off? So if you want to be able to see the bottom and just leave a little bit extra, I'm just going to cut about a ½ inch around the base. So now I know I have enough clay. I'm going to round this off just a little bit. as well, because when you cut with a fettling knife, it leaves kind of a rough edge. So you definitely want to smooth off those edges with a sponge. Clean up the seams. Oops, that's coming apart a little bit. Let me push it back together.